Hi everyone, what's the story and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today we're going to be going into how to understand nutrition for Gaelic footballers. Nutrition for Gaelic football is unbelievably simple, yet the education level among footballers is unbelievably low. Most players, almost all players, haven't got a clue. They don't know the basic fundamentals of nutrition. And it's a real shame because if you empower players with the education on nutrition, it can completely transform their game and their fitness levels in a way they've never experienced before from just training alone. So the low education standard among Gaelic footballers on nutrition comes from just not understanding the basics. And by the end of this video, you're going to completely understand the basics of nutrition for body composition, so for building muscle, losing fat, and for performance on game day. The first thing that you need to understand at a deep level is that if you get leaner than ever, you are taking a massive step towards peak performance. Okay, overweight Gaelic footballers have completely vanished from inter-county football teams for a reason. Because being overweight, carrying extra body fat, is a massive hindrance towards you reaching your full potential in the modern game. So if you're starting off at around 20% or 25%, which is most Gaelic footballers who start coaching with me, getting down to 10 to 15% is going to massively boost your performance if you do it in the right way. You don't want to be doing chicken and broccoli in a crash diet where you're low energy and you're tired for training sessions, whether those sessions are in the gym or on the pitch. You want to get leaner than ever in an athletic way. It's where you see Haaland or Ronaldo or any top sports stars from any sport. They're very, very lean, they're very, very athletic, and they're still eating plenty of food. So that's the way we're going to focus on today. Over the past 16 years, I've helped well over 1,000 footballers achieve this, lose body fat and get leaner. Some of the most impressive examples might be Martin here, who lost 26 kg or 60 pounds in 7 months. He did this while getting stronger for all the 7 months, and he wasn't hungry at all at any period during that 7 months. He's also kept that weight off. That was 3 years ago, and just a few weeks ago or a few months ago, he ran the Dublin Marathon. Another very impressive example is Dara, who lost 12 kg last year. He went from 96 down to 84. He did this while getting stronger than ever in every single one of the compound lifts, and after 5 months decided he wanted to do an Ironman, and with 1 month of training recorded an excellent time and a full Ironman. After 5 months, despite doing zero running training, he ran his fastest ever 10k in 47 minutes, and to make it even more impressive, he did a 50k cycle and a 1.2k swim before running the 47-minute 10k. So getting leaner than ever is going to get you very, very fit, even if you're not doing much cardio training. But obviously, if you're playing Gaelic football, you're going to be doing cardio training alongside it anyway. Mikey had absolutely rapid fat loss. Again, he got stronger than ever on every lift, and he lost 13 kg, so 27 pounds in 12 weeks. So he was able to get stronger and leaner, lose a lot of weight very, very quickly. All these guys losing weight were on 2,000 to 2,500 calories. Limog, one of my most impressive 12-week transformations, that's 84 kg down to 78, stronger than ever on every single lift, and way more athletic, way more flexible. Connor as well went viral at Christmas. This is down 6 kg as well, from 82 down to 76. And Connor was able to keep getting stronger on every lift at the same time as well, while getting more flexible too. And of course, Aaron is a great example of fellas going the other way, who were going up in weight. So he gained 7 kg in just 12 weeks, from 70 kg to 77. You can see an impressive amount of muscle mass built in such a short period of time. So I'm going to outline today what you need to understand if you're going to make a dramatic amount of progress like that. But one of the crucial things to understand is that your pitch work is more or less a waste of time in terms of getting you fit if you're not taking care of your diet. So every single GA club in Ireland has fellas who don't miss a session all the year long, but they do not get any fitter, because no matter how hard they run, drinking too much alcohol, not having a proper diet is holding them back from getting any results out of the training. Now, of course, you can get more skillful and you can improve your game that way, but when it comes to the fitness work, the runs, You are literally spinning your wheels. You're getting absolutely nothing out of the runs, no matter how hard they are, if your diet is bad. You cannot outrun a bad diet. Another great example would be someone who misses half the sessions in the year and they come back and they're still flying fit. That's because this person is lean. It's because they're not carrying extra body fat. They can get very, very fit very quickly. They can respond to training very quickly. So despite never ever giving my clients one food plan ever in the last 16 years, I'm able to get extremely impressive results with a wide variety of starting points. And it's because I educate them on the very simple but very effective muscle and strength nutrition pyramid. The base covers the most important things up to least important at the top. And a lot of people have this very much backwards. They'll start on supplements. I started on supplements. I made that mistake myself. They'll start on fasting. They'll start on things like this, which can help, but they're way, way less important. So right down here at the bottom, I actually have alcohol, because alcohol wrecks all 5 things in the nutrition pyramid. Now, I'm not going to make this video about alcohol, but just be aware, alcohol has an impact on all 5 levels of the nutrition pyramid, and it ruins them. But at the bottom of the nutrition pyramid here, you have calories. That is the most important part of the nutrition pyramid. You need to find out the calories that are in the foods that you eat all the time, and also in the meals that you eat all the time. So let's say, for example, you might have a chicken breast. So you need to find out the calories and track that and find out how much calories it has and how much macros, so how much protein, fats and carbs is in that chicken breast. But not just the individual food you need to be educated on. You also need to be educated on when you put it together in a meal. So let's say a curry is where I have chicken a lot, so you might have rice and peppers with it. So you need to find out when you put the meal together how many calories it has. So finding out how many calories is in all of your favorite foods that you eat the most often, and how many calories is in all of your favorite meals is a crucial part of you being educated about your food. I can't do that for you. I can give you a meal plan, you can follow the meal plan, or ChatGPT can, and good for you, it might work for 12 weeks, but you learn nothing, and if you don't want to follow the meal plan anymore, you're more or less back to square one, which is what happens to an awful lot of people. They'll make a little bit of progress, be very strict, and then back to square one. Whether my clients make long-term progress because they're educated and they can stick to these methods long-term. So finding out the calories is the most important thing, and keeping those calories consistent is crucial. Now, for reference, the clients that I train, if they're trying to lose fat, they're usually on 2,500 to 2,000 calories. If they're trying to gain muscle, they're usually on 2,500 to 3,000 calories. There's never an exception below. I've never went lower than 2,000 calories with any of my clients, and there's rarely been exceptions above. Most guys have been able to gain more than enough muscle on 3,000 calories for Gaelic football. So now that you know calories are the most important, after that, the macronutrients. So the macronutrients are the proteins, fats and carbs that make up the calories. Protein has 4 calories per gram, carbs have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9 calories per gram. So eating a low-fat diet might drop calories quickly, for example, but that doesn't mean it's a healthy one, because you need fats. Essential fatty acids are essential and you need to eat them. So a low-fat diet might be good for dropping calories, but you do need some fats. When it comes to protein and carbs, a lot of people will go low carb to lose weight quickly. That might sound like a good idea. You know, a lot of carb foods are higher in calories and they make you feel very, very full. But you do need carbs for exercise. So you can just simply be in a calorie deficit and you don't need to go extremely low fat or extremely low carb. And with protein, that's the most important. You want to be eating at least 2 grams per kg of body weight. So if you weigh 80 kg, you should aim to eat 160 grams of protein per day. Now, for the vast majority of my clients, I tell them to hit 200 grams because usually they fall short. So if you tell someone to eat 200 grams a day, they'll usually land somewhere around 160, 170. But take it that anything above 150 is a win. After macros, we have micronutrients, which for me are crucially important and very underrated in Gaelic football circles. So micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals in food, and the natural single ingredient foods like fruits, vegetables, meats, fish, nuts. Foods that don't have a list of ingredients. those are the foods that are the highest in micronutrients, and you want to be eating a diet where 90% of your calories are from those foods. If you're looking for peak performance, better digestion, better skin health, that is absolutely crucial. I myself try and keep processed food to only once or twice a week. Now, what's the difference, you might ask? Well, let's say, for example, if you have a 200 gram protein target and you get 100, why not get 100 grams of it, or even 150 grams of it from protein bars, protein yogurts, protein powder? What's the difference between that and eating steak and eggs and chicken? Well, the main difference is that if you were to leave a steak here on the counter, or if you were to leave a protein bar here on the counter beside it, if you come back in a few days, the steak would be rotten, but the protein bar would look more or less exactly the same because it has preservatives in it. And the steak is rotten because it already contains enzymes and bacteria that are going to help you digest that food. And you can use that simple analogy for most processed foods versus unprocessed. So processed have their place. They are important. It's not convenient to go around and eating completely unprocessed food all the time because processed food doesn't go off as quickly. But as much as possible, you want fresh meats, fresh vegetables, and fresh fruit. For your digestion and for your overall sense of health and well-being, that's going to be the best approach. After this, we have nutrient timing. So the time of day as you eat certain foods. So you'll have heard a lot about this in terms of maybe the post-workout protein window where you have to get protein in, or you lose all your gains if you don't get it in on time. Or you need to be carb loading, so you need to be eating a load of carbs within a few hours before training. Or you might even need to eat them, according to some people, the day before and loading up on carbs then. Or fasting and intermittent fasting. So that time that you eat certain foods can be important, it can play a role, and it can certainly have an impact on your performance if you get it wrong. But overall, the total daily calories and the macros is so much more important than the nutrient timing. So whether you eat the same amount of calories, so let's say 2,500 calories, whether you eat it in 3, 4, or 5 meals, that's not going to have a huge impact on your performance. But the total amount of calories and the food quality and the protein is going to have a huge impact on your performance. So I'd be focusing on getting consistent calories, consistent protein, and mainly whole foods before I'd be doing anything nutrient timing wise or fasting wise. And then finally, at the top of the pyramid, you have supplements. So supplements, we can jump into creatine, electrolyte tablets, vitamin D3, fish oil. I love all these things and they have their place. But I can tell you now from experience with myself and with clients, a few fish oil tablets or some creatine is going to make absolutely zero difference to your performance in the gym or on the pitch if you are not nailing your calories and your macros first. So you have to get that right if you're going to have any impact from supplements. I personally don't get any of my clients to get any supplements in the first month, sometimes 2 months of training, because it's a waste. Until I know they have their calories and their protein intake bang on and they're eating higher quality foods, then the supplements are going to make no difference. Far more important than supplements, and what's going to give you a far bigger boost to performance in the gym and on the pitch, is just drinking enough water and getting enough sleep. They will have a far bigger impact than any supplement. And just to mention it again here, the alcohol fucks up everything. It fucks up your calories for that day and your weekly calorie average. It fucks up your macros because your proteins, fats, carbs are all over the place if you have 5-10 pints. It fucks up your micronutrients because it's completely devoid of any nutritional value, and it messes up your nutrient timing, whatever your plan is for your meals. And there's absolutely zero point in taking a few fish oil tablets or some creatine if you're having 10 pints of Heineken every weekend. It's going to do jack shit in terms of building muscle or losing fat. So you need to get your priorities in order. Alcohol, what I say to each one of my clients is it should be limited to once or twice a month, 3 to 5 drinks. And that's if you're interested in getting in the best shape of your life. With my online coaching, I have a rule that you get a money back guarantee, but only based on when I was coaching and managing, there was 2 people on the panel, or 2 types of players on the panel, who caused all the trouble. The fellas who drink too much and the fellas who don't show up to training. So you get a money back guarantee on my online coaching if you cut alcohol to once or twice a month, and if you turn up to a call every single week. That's how big an impact alcohol has. So most of the guys I train with, their food isn't too bad. They're not too educated, but their food isn't too bad. They need to increase their protein and improve the food quality. But their alcohol intake is way too high for the goals that they're trying to achieve. So if you want to get super educated and make a lot of progress with your fitness, your muscle growth, your fat loss, and your education about nutrition in the next 6 months, track absolutely everything. If you track everything when you're on the road, track your nights out and your few pints whenever you have them, track your takeaways or your meals out in restaurants, track when you eat at delis or petrol stations, and then of course track at home where it's nice and easy and you can just scan barcodes and weigh foods and you're eating similar meals all the time. If you do that every day for 6 months, you'll probably never have to track again, and you'll know, looking at foods and looking at meals, exactly what they contain in terms of proteins, fats, carbs, and calories. So with nutrition, it is very, very simple, but it's hard work being consistent. If you do be consistent, you're going to maximize the results from all your training on the pitch and in the gym. If you're not consistent with it, you can train as hard as you want, you're not going to be making much progress. If you've been enjoying these videos so far and you're taking value from the content, please do me a favor and subscribe, as it helps me grow the channel. Let's go.